Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And this is our non-spoiler review for Thor, Love and Thunder. Thor, Love and Thunder is directed by Taika Waititi and stars Chris Hemsworth, Christian Bale, Tessa Thompson, Taika Waititi, and Natalie Portman. Thor is on a quest for inner peace. That is, until Gorr the God Butcher appeared, a galactic killer who seeks the extinction of the gods. You guys probably have already seen our trailer reactions for Thor, and yes, we know that there's also a couple of TV spots that we didn't react to, but we generally try to stay away from TV spots because sometimes we feel that it gives away a little bit too much, and we, already have seen all the trailers, so we try to save some of those to experience in the movies.
And there's a lot of times that we really want to try to keep as much as possible under wraps. And there's sometimes when, in these TV spots, they're trying to get the audience that normally wouldn't go see a Thor movie to be like, oh, this is amazing, I want to go see it, and they might spoil something. So we were already plenty excited from the 2 or 3 trailers that we saw, and that was good enough. We were all in on this new Thor movie.
So once again, Taika Waititi is back to direct this film. He's also playing Korg in the film, just like he did in Thor Ragnarok. And I think this one, and I don't know if it's because I was expecting the level of comedy that kind of comes along with the Taika Waititi name, but this one is so entertaining. It is so funny. Like, you were kind of well, no, I don't want to say you're laughing out of the gate because they actually had to introduce a very important character out of the gate. But after that, it was kind of a lot of entertainment, a lot of laughs, a lot of really great jokes in Taika fashion. But one of my favorite things about this movie is kind of the journey that Thor goes on. I mean, as it is, with all these solo Marvel movies, but this journey is a little bit different because somebody who he hasn't seen in forever sort of re-enters his life in a whole different way, and that is Natalie Portman's Jane Foster.
Jane?
But she reappears in his life as the mighty Thor. So a lot of you guys have already been talking in the comments in our reaction videos saying, are they going to follow the comics where Jane Foster has cancer and that is how she becomes Thor? We're going to let you guys find that out in your own in the movie unless they showed it already in a TV spot. But I gotta say, and I say this with a lot of love in my heart, I love Natalie Portman. Mm-hmm. I think she's a phenomenal actress. Jane hasn't always been my favorite in the Thor movies. I thought she was alright in the first Thor movie. I didn't really like her in Dark World. I didn't really like that movie in general.
Of anything in Thor: The Dark World that a lot of people are like, yeah, that's one of the best things about Thor. If they're saying that, they're probably not talking about The Dark World. But honestly, one of the great things about this movie is the relationship between Thor and Jane Foster. And this is where Taika's comedy really does get kind of cranked up to 11. Because something that Taika does very well is that kind of awkward humor to where it's because Thor doesn't know how to speak and Natalie Portman's kind of awkward because she's got these newfound powers. And honestly, this is something that's just really entertaining to sit back and watch and eat your popcorn. But Taika's humor is really heavy in a big majority of this movie. Mm-hmm. It really is. If you liked Ragnarok, you will really love the humor in Thor: Love and Thunder.
And we talk about, our main characters such as Thor, Jane, Gorr, the God Butcher, the Valkyrie, but there's also a couple of other, Korg, and then there's also a couple of side characters that I actually never expected to, have their own moment in this, and they're kind of, I don't want to call them inanimate objects, because they're really not, but Mjolnir and Stormbreaker plays a really important part in this story.
They really bring in their give them a character and personality with those weapons.
Yeah.
And I really liked how they did that too. I really have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, and of course the goats. You guys will see what we mean about the goats. I love the goats.
And giant goats! Oh, look at those!
So with that said, we talk about the comedy, which is almost to be expected because it's very cohesive to Thor Ragnarok. But in this one, and we sort of, saw darker moments in Ragnarok with Hela.
Yeah.
But in this one, I think they also dialed that up a little bit with the introduction of Gore the God Butcher, Christian Bale. Whoever doubted that he was going to do a phenomenal job. I mean, it's Christian Bale. But I feel like he had such a great time playing the role, because with Gore, it wasn't just, I will kill all gods. Like, there's multiple layers there, and he's not just kind of like this is my MO, and this is how I will act the entire film. Like, there's different elements to him that is, like, there are parts that are ultra creepy, and the way they play with certain colors, you guys saw this already in the trailer.
That scene is amazing.
Cool.
It is really cool.
Yeah, it's giving kind of Sin City 300 vibes as far as, like, the coloration goes. For those scenes, it's pretty epic. I really like the way they played with a lot of that. The battle sequences are really amazing. The way they use Mjolnir is really cool, without giving away too much. It's
yeah, there's a couple different ways that Jane Foster uses. You see it in the trailer too, where where Mjolnir's shards. That's just the beginning of it. It is really cool how that she the creative way that she does end up using Mjolnir and the new kind of structure that Mjolnir has.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. There's a lot of fun moments that you're just laughing out loud.
Yes.
In this. And the moment when they do go to the city of the gods,
where they see Zeus.
Where you do see Zeus, and you do get a little flick.
You flick too hard.
Everyone in the theater kind of had a.
As the people also on screen. Same reaction.
I mean, Chris Hemsworth really does not have I think he has like a negative body fat percentage.
No, that's possible.
I don't know how that's possible.
It's a very strict diet and a very strict regimen of, like, exercise and diet, I think. And then I will say, the score, the fight scenes, the dialogue, a lot of it worked for me. I will say the third act, as much as I enjoy this movie, is probably my least favorite act out of the 3 acts in this movie. It's just they were on a trajectory of finishing the story, I think, on a high note. And then they gave us something that I felt was too rushed, didn't really explain it well, and it didn't give me enough where I felt invested in how they ended the story, where I was like, well, okay, sure, I can see why they did it, but as a viewer, I had no connections to how they got there, because I felt like they didn't play it up enough.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this kind of goes to, like, because of the runtime, because it is slightly on the shorter side. I felt that the pacing was fine throughout most of the movie. It does move pretty fast, and I didn't really feel like they were rushing it until we got to the third act. I was like, whoa, hold on, everything is happening at once. So didn't quite stick the landing for me for the ending, but other than that, everything worked really well.
Yeah, and for me, I didn't really catch the flaws until I started talking to people about it. Until I was kind of like, you're right. That the way that the third act was, they tried to stick that landing was a little bit wobbly, and I didn't really notice it until I started to talk about it a little bit more with everyone else. But yeah, I think they kind of rushed a certain part. There was a little bit of a wait. Huh?
Yeah.
How'd you get... We got from here to there. What happened in between?
Yeah.
But a lot of this movie is just fun, entertaining, action-packed, and I love some of the choreography. Yes. Now, there's probably going to be a lot of complaints, because pretty much every single fight, every single battle in this movie is very Marvelized. It's very Marvel standard. High CGI, high special effects. But honestly, it fits. I mean,
it fits the vibe of the movie.
You can't have a fight with a flying hammer going over everywhere with a whole bunch of godlike individuals without having a lot of CGI going on.
I mean, I enjoyed it. Aside from the third act, which kind of is sort of the little one thing I would have any sort of criticism on, but I think everything else worked together really well. As far as end credit scenes goes, there are 2, and then we can go into that in our spoiler review for the Patreons, which will be up after the movie is out. It is time to rate the movie, and if you're curious about the movie couple rating system, it is listed for you in the description below. Dustin, how would you rate Thor: Love and Thunder?
I had a lot of fun with this. I enjoyed it. It had a lot of good action. It had a lot of good comedy, and I was very much expecting what I got. I think going into Ragnarok, it was a little bit jarring for me because I got so much of the Taika comedy. But going into this one, I was expecting it. I knew what I was going to get. I saw a lot of it in the trailers, so I'm giving it a check it out. I thought it's something that you really want to go see in the theaters. It's something that you want to get a lot of popcorn for and just yuck it up and enjoy the action.
My rating for this movie is also check it out, and it should absolutely be seen in the theaters. Look, the comedy is fantastic. It is really pure entertainment from beginning to end. I love the horror elements, and when I say horror, I mean like they dial that up too. So just brace yourself for that. I love the play on the colors depending on where they are in the story or specific to certain characters. You're going to have a lot of fun watching this, and if you understand Taika and you saw what he did with Ragnarok, get ready for it to get just
cranked up to 11.
And that is it for our non-spoiler review for Thor: Love and Thunder. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and we will
But no spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers. We will see you in the next one.